I can still remember what it was like the first time I stepped into a race car. The sound of the engine, the anticipation, but I never could have imagined where this journey would take me. My father once told me that racing is just like life. You have to stay on your toes, because you never know what's around the next corner. My name is Bill Watson, and this is my story.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
From Autodromo Nazionale Monza, it's the Global SimRacing Channel's penultimate round coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. After Germany's Thomas Seeger won the point at Imola, Spain's Xavi Ross held serve at Indy. Depending on how you like your points, one of them, either Seeger or Ross, is leading the points race with only one more event after this one. There have been 7 different race winners this season. Getting an 8th today would not be a surprise. The only thing for certain is the racing will be exciting and strategic. And you can see all the simulated Williams FW31 road course action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Up in the booth to bring you our Word's Eye view, Stefan Slocker, joined by yours truly, Bill Soupson. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is, as always, our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, armed with cameras, locked and loaded by Dougie Beer. Okay, Stefan, B and I was in Italy 2 rounds ago. Then it was Imola. After a trip to the big brickyard, we return this time to Monza.
Exactly, Soup, and also from me, benvenuto da Monza. The second Gran Premio d'Italia, this time as mentioned at beautifully fast Autodromo Nazionale Monza. High speed. This track doesn't know any other word. Average speeds of around 150 miles per hour. 11 turns are around these 3.6 miles of track located in the Royal Park of Monza, which is also the reason why we only have a handful of races per year in real life. Bit of a shame if you ask me. At the very end, this track isn't that much about drafting for these cars, but it's actually so much more about these turns. Bumps and camber changes make it hard to get it right. How hard is it? Well, you're gonna see now as we're going to send you trackside with our GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC FW31, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming down to the Rettifilio chicane, you'll soon see why this causes so many first lap accidents. The track gets narrow, and you're hard on the brakes. You can try to fight back and overtake, but it rarely ends happy for both parties. Straighten out the car in the exit before you really plant your right foot, and then head towards the Curva Grande. In a modern F1 car, this corner is easily flat out now. Simply let it drift out on exit to carry speed, then switch back to set up for the Della Roggia. Once again, you're heavy on the brakes, but be wary of the tall orange curbs on the insides of the apexes. Being confident on the power will be everything. Now we hit the first Lesmo. There's a lot of banking to carry you through, but the corner tightens on exit, so be careful. Then it's a short blast to the second Lesmo where it's a quick flick, and then once more flat to the floor. You've got a little bit of a chance to breathe as you head under the old oval and towards the Ascari chicane. However, watch out for an attack if you got a slow exit. This last chicane is extra tricky with it being both fast and involving 3 apexes. Clip the first one, then hug the right to give the best angle through the final one. Make sure and use every inch of track, and now you head towards the Parabolica. Bring the car over to the left and spot your braking point. Despite taking you a full 180 degrees, this is going to be a pretty fast entry and an even faster exit. The apex comes early, and then you need to get back to full power as soon as you feel it grip. On a racing lap, let the car drift all the way outside, but hold right if you're qualifying for the shortest run for the line. Hopefully you kept it on the black stuff and you finished a lap around Monza.
And there you have a lap around Monza. A really fast lap indeed, thanks to Joe Peak for taking us around. All right, now I'm going to try to take you around the point standings. Now, GSRC is dedicated to giving you, the viewers, the best understanding of the points race as possible. That's why we're showing you 2 different versions of one truth. Looking at the best of 8 points. Now, as mentioned in the opening, Thomas Seeger is the points leader here. 8 markers to the good of Xavi Ross. The San Filippo boys sit 3rd and 4th with Marco ahead of Danilo. And then Ross's countrymate, Antonio Poveda, is well back in 5th. But what's important is to see that Seeger is in front of Ross there by an 8-point margin. Let's look at now another way of looking at it. When you look at it not at the 8 best results the drivers get to keep, but rather the 4 worst results they must drop, the story changes completely. Now Xavi Ross is not only in the lead, but he's comfortably in the lead by a whopping 130 points and 170 points over Seeger. Now, the San Filippo boys are actually split by Seeger, who sits not in the lead, but now in 3rd. The most important number on this chart is that 134 by the droplet on Seeger's names. That is the German's largest dropped race that he doesn't get to score. You can kind of almost hear Thomas saying, I want to score 6 points, but they won't let you score those 136. You got to drop them. Hey, and look at that, 4-time winner and many-time truaner is Mark Usher. He sits down there in 5th. So, personally, I think this way's the better way to look at the points, but it all depends on, how you want to do it. Hey, I put salt on my watermelon, so consider the source. Here's for something much more straightforward, is have Stefan take a look at the race details.
Much more straightforward, and numbers that I like to look at much more, because we are at round 11 of 12 with those already before mentioned 4 drop weeks for the drivers. Today's race, 35 laps, 1 pit stop, as always in this series, is required. But you are able to put up your setup as much as you want, because your setups are completely open to change. Incident cap standard for iRacing 17 incidents, and for the batteries not included championship, they're using the official iRacing points that you would get in your normal championship rankings on the iRacing page too. And Soup, it's gonna get really down here today, because Monza, fast track, high speeds, high intensity, the championship is pretty much on the line for anyone. It's gonna be a good one.
Let's go ahead and have Steph take a look at the weather here. You look at that beautiful Italian sky pushing down on the racetrack. What do you think, Steph?
We were talking about it's gonna be a hot race, and not only the intensity, but also the weather. Not so much the track temperature with only 95 Fahrenheit, but it is 84 Fahrenheit in the air. Mostly cloudy, thus the track temperature is quite low. But with those mostly cloudy, if we get a long break from cloud cover, that track temperature will rise like a rocket. Winds pretty much non-existing, south 3 to 4 miles per hour, and the humidity pretty much smack middle with 15%. No fog.
And you know, the best of the best in the iRacing World Championships, as well as the many private leagues, like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you become a subscriber. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. We did not have a split today. We have a pretty fair-sized field with 17 drivers here. A lot of the big names are with us. One of the names that I want to talk about is a man who's not out on the track right now, is Clayton McLeod, our defending champion. His name is here. He's put in a qualifying time of sitting fourth. Big names, Antonio Paveda. He has a win. Now we're looking there at Eugene Massa. He's our slowest qualifier in 16th.
Obviously not related to Felipe Massa, as Felipe, Brazilian driver, and Eugenio Massa is racing out of Italy.
There you see him racing in the shadow of the clouds. He's the only driver out on track right now who still needs to put in a time. Michael
Massa has already put in 2 times, actually, and there's the session end.
And he's sitting down there in 16th. All right, that's it. With a small grid, let's take it a row at a time. Steph, on the front row is Antonio Paveda. He's going to be inside of Xavi Ross.
Thomas Knoll is on the left side of your starting grid in P3, alongside him Clayton McLeod.
It's a San Filippo row 3, Marco inside of Danilo.
Thomas Ziga, one of your 2 championship leaders, which way ever you look at it, in 7th place, alongside him Lars Hahn.
Andy Rolfson in the 9th position, flanked by John Pat Kelly.
David Cudmore just outside the top 10, sitting with his number 11 in 11th place. Alongside him, the 12th of Thomas C.
Rafael Castagno in the Baker's Dozen spot. Jerry Folcombe outside of him.
Eva Potaro Murad in 15th, and the last car to put in a qualifying time is Eugenio Massa in 16th.
And then we have Michael, who did not put in a time. It's always fun to watch, though. He'll be back in 17th as he actually does grid, and he's out there, so that's good. We talked about it being in clear sky, but you can see that there's not a lot of shadows being cast right now, except from the cloud that blocks the sun. The penultimate round here in the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship, round 11 of 12. Xavi Ross, who I think is your points leader, sitting outside of row number 1. Thomas Ziger, who is what many consider the point leader, in 7th. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover around the cows. The horses are out of the barn. And it is previous race winner Antonio Paveda leading them down into the first corner.
Bad start for Thomas Knoll. Oh! Contact.
No.
Thomas Ziger contact with Andy Runolfsson. Andy gets turned.
He got contact once, then he got contact twice, and the second one turned him over. He got a little bit of a clip from Moore as he went by. We'll come back and take another look at that one when time allows. Well, that is certainly not going to help the Germans' championship hopes. Meanwhile, up in front, it is Paveda, who's opened up a nice, friendly gap. Back to Ross. Heading down into the little double chicane here that will lead to Parabolica.
Through the Variante Ascari they go, and seems like your top 5 pretty much stayed the top 5, except for a little bit of a change between them. But apart from that, nobody outside the top 5 was able to get within the top 5.
Through Parabolica and ready to complete the first lap. He has a win already this season. He's looking to pick up another one. There is a battle for second. Here comes Marco Sanfilippo with a run. on Ross. There is going to be a battle for second, heading down into the first chicane side by side. And look at that. The pass is made from Sanfilippo. He gets it done.
Great pass by Marcus Sanfilippo around the outside, and obviously he gets the inside for turn 2, but here comes Xaviros as Thomas Seeger finally officially parks his car into the line. Oh!
Ross was peeking on the inside. Sanfilippo kind of eased over on him. I don't know if they made contact, but now look at this, pumping back after Ross gets it. Here comes Marco back.
The switcheroo, that's exactly how you do it. Textbook overtake there by Marcus Sanfilippo.
An exciting first lap. We're going to stay right on this battle for second as Pavetta begins to run away with him, but this is where the action is. Ross probably doesn't realize that his biggest rival, Seeger, has had an issue of this early on. We'll come back and take a look at that in a minute. But here it goes. Oh my goodness. And a late defend there by Sanfilippo going into Parabolica.
Here comes Xaviros now, though. The draft is incredible strong here down the long front stretch. Goes to the inside.
I didn't know there was room to the inside there. He forced it down in there, and when Sanfilippo went out to get a wide corner entry, Ross took the point. Sanfilippo slow through Redifilio this time, and Noel closes in. Noel in that blue car, third in line. He has a chase now.
Third in line, fourth in the standings right now. And Marcus Sanfilippo with a little bit too much help there does not do enough though for Thomas Noel to allow him to pick.
All this going on 2 seconds behind Pavetta, who's having it his way right now. We've watched Noel race earlier this season a few times. He is exciting. Pace is not his problem. Keeping the car on the gray part of the track is. Noel drops back a little bit now as they continue to battle for second. Clayton McLeod sits in third. That's your defending, or sits in fifth. That's your defending champion. He's got a comfortable gap on Danilo Sanfilippo. You can see them all in that line right there. We are working lap number 4. The battle for second has eased up a bit, but let's look at Noel. He's really on the back of Sanfilippo. That's Marco. Boy, like Stefan said, once he gets there, look, he'll have a run. Let's see if he forces the issue here. Sanfilippo kind of defends. Noel on the outside. Contact. Noel loses momentum. He's going to lose the spot. That is defending champion Clayton McLeod in the dark blue machine. Moving up now into fourth.
Your top 3 currently started as they are. Actually, no, it's not. Marcus Sanfilippo went from 5th to 3rd, so he is so far the only gainer in the top 5.
There's Clayton McLeod, the champion who won by a single point last season over Mark Usher. Now we're on board with Danilo Sanfilippo looking up at Noel. Noel, after that contact, has lost touch with the guys he was chasing with, and he was racing with the Sanfilippo, but it was Marco. Now he's got another one. This time it's Danilo behind him, pestering him. This battle is for 5th. As soon as things settle down, we'll go back and replay the start because it is a major talking point. Here's the pass made. Too wide, and he gets it done in Redifilio. Move Danilo Sanfilippo now up to 5th. Noel going the wrong direction. Oh, we'll go take a look at Kelly.
Yeah,
John Pat Kelly.
I was looking at that battle for quite a bit already. That is for P7, he tried to overtake Thomas Seen there on the outside, just outbroke himself and then lost the rear a little bit. And then once he tried to step on his throttle again, just loses it twice again, and thus loses positions rather than gaining them.
Yeah, loses spots to Zine and to Forcombe and Lars Hung. All right, as things settle down a bit, let's go ahead and roll the dice and hope the drivers behave. We'll go back and replay that first lap incident that involved our overall points leader, the German Thomas Seeger.
Yeah, I wonder if that had a little bit to do there all with the bad start of Thomas Knoll ahead and a little bit of an accordion effect. They touched the first time and then boom, over he goes.
That's Ronaldson who got into him the first time and then got into him a second time, and the second one turned him over. No coming back from that one, and we come back live. All right. You can see the interval of 2.2 seconds from Antonio Poveda. Stefan, we've watched Poveda race several times this season. Another driver whose never really problem isn't pace. It's, yeah, I guess bad luck. I mean, he seems to find his problems.
The thing with Xavi Ross is he is fast, and if he can get into his own rhythm, then he will be steady as a rock. But if he is disturbed from his rhythm, he will start to make mistakes, and that is the biggest thing of Xavi Ross. He really always has to make sure to get into his rhythm early and stop himself from making those mistakes.
Well, we saw him do that last race when at Indy. It was just, he got out front and he was just perfect, picking up the win. Let's look at the driver in 10th. I hate to reward him for being a hard charger when he didn't put in a qualifying time, but this is Michael Uzel. Up several spots.
One thing we have to mention is Cherry Forcombe. At the start of this lap, he had a mishap in the chicane, spun himself around. He started the lap in 8th. Now he is all the way down in 15th because of his spin.
Boy, yeah, he sure did have problems. I think we might be able to take a replay up, but we'll roll the dice, see if we can get this one. He was having a great run. Let's call it up and see what we can spin up here for you. There we go. All right, we'll see where he is here. You can see that he is currently being scored in 15th. Hard to say if this is before or after. Cannot tell who's in front of him there, so let's assume this is before he has this issue. You can see the beautiful foliage here. And that's the run he was having. Not sure if we're going to see the issue that he had. I think that car he is chasing there, that might be Mora right now. Okay. Yeah, that's him sitting there in 15th. There is a nice battle going on for 12th. Let's check in on Eugenio Massa. Castagno making a run on him. This battle for 12th. These guys race about 31 seconds behind the leader. Here comes Castagno to the inside.
Oh, and the spin ahead.
Oh, that's Cudmore that goes off in front of him. Both drivers negotiate around him. Cudmore is going to fall back into 15th. We'll get a replay of that one. Cudmore loses spots to Massa, Castagno, Mora, and Forcombe.
Yeah, that was... He tried to defend his position there.
And let's just stay on it, Director. Let's stay on it because there's another incident. If you can pan up to Massa after we see the spin here. Let's go right up to Massa right now, and you'll see as they head down, I believe it's Forcombe who's going to get into him here in a minute. There's the pass made. But that's not done. because as they head down into the next chicane, there's the blue car. You can see him get up, and he gets a little bit of help going around right here. Boink!
Oh.
And now we come back live. Let's look at 11th position, just ahead of these guys. A pass made. Mora goes around Castagno, but then goes off. This leaves the door open for Fulcom now. Oh. Steph, they almost get together, and they're back on the main straight.
Yeah, and Castagno seems to have some damage as he's really slow on the inside here. Fulcom not able to get up to Mura. And then that's all happening in front of the pick car of Lucinio Massa.
Who
now also outbrakes himself.
And now it's a 5-car battle as Cudmore has joined it. Okay. All this going on, the driver in 8th position, Zine has spun. He did this on his own right in front of John Pat Kelly.
Yeah, too fast into the first part of the chicane, backs it into the wall and has damage. He is grabbing.
What? Be right on board with Kelly. This will take your breath away. He is so far back, everything's fine. You be the driver, you pick the racing line. All right, now we come back on Thomas Seed, who is in 12th, and he's off. The entire field going around him now. Oh my goodness. Fulcom picks up a spot on Mora. The excitement back here is non-stop. Not much going on up front.
And the top is all spread out. All the action here down here for that 11th position.
Let's look at Cudmore with a run on Castagno. He's going to get that one for now. Steph, you talked about the draft. That's what's got to be what I'm looking at, right? These guys are just running these guys down.
Yeah, it's all about the draft, but you have to be able to stay with the car ahead of you in those tight chicanes and the two Lesmos, because it's all about them. If you don't get a drive out of that, you're not going to be there even with the draft. Even though we have those long straights, we need to be good out of those slow turns.
So let me set the stage of the 5 drivers you're looking at there. Fulcom now is your leader in 10th. He's got a little bit of a gap on Mora and Cudmore, who raced for 11th and 12th. A little farther back is Castagno, and then the last car in line is Massa. That's how they race for now. I think there's going to be a pass for 12th, though, in a second, or for 11th. Cudmore about 4 car lengths back as they head down into Parabolica. He's going to get a run. He's not going to get it through Parabolica. Look at the miss, totally missing the apex is Mora. And you get a pass on the inside from Cudmore.
Yeah, and Jerry Fulcom isn't all that far ahead of these guys, so if David Cudmore can keep it together, he is going to be up to Jerry Fulcom in no time. Oh, and Castagno hit now.
We go back up to the leader. There we go. And we see our leader now well onto the front straight. We ride on board with Savi Ross. Okay. Oh, of course. There we go. We ride on board. Oh, a little mistake there.
Oh, Jerry Fulcom just crashed. He was getting caught by David Cudmore, and the bumps out of Ascari caught up to Jerry.
racing ahead of all those guys. Luckily, they all get around him.
That is where we kind of have to say good thing that we don't have the new damage model yet, because that would have littered the track with carbon fiber.
Indeed. You talk about that. Cannot wait to see that one. All right, we've been looking at the guys in the back a little bit. Let's check in off front. Marco Sanfilippo making a move here on Xavi Ross. The gap about 0.7 of a second. He's close enough to be in the tow. And better yet, Stefan, we talked about it, close enough to put the pressure on Ross.
In behind, everything settled down, but up front it is everything but settling down. They're really putting on the pressure now off Xavi Ross. And it seems like Xavi Ross is starting to make mistakes, because his last lap at 25.465 compared to the 24.9 of Marco Sanfilippo.
It's a good one. Again, Ross he certainly knows that his biggest competition is out of the race now. Now he really just needs to score some points. It's going to make his season finale much less stressful if he can get a good points day here. Let's look at Marco, the leader of the two Sanfilippo boys. As they head down, they come out of Ascari, now down into this long straight into Parabolica, the sweeping right-hander. Round and round you go. Come back out onto the main straight, and he is 0.8 of a second behind the man he is chasing, Ross. Maybe a bit out of the toe, doesn't close much on him. Certainly closes up under braking. It looks closer now than it actually is. These guys race about 8 seconds ahead of Clayton McLeod, right on board with Marco. This is the best battle on the track. We've been jumping around a lot, so it's kind of nice if we just let you see a little bit of racing.
And Jerry Forkop just spun once again, not that far ahead of our leaders actually, but he spun it to the inside of Les Mathieu and has
Yeah, he was having a good race. That's the end of his day. Started in 14th and worked himself all the way up to about 10th. Don't need to go there, but just follow up on Thomas Knoll. Remember, he was threatening up. I think he might have was looking at even to get up into second. He's fallen back to 6th. He's slowly trying to work his way back up. We'll take a peek at Knoll. There's a little bit of wing damage going on. He can get that taken care of as soon as the pit window opens up. Now, the car he's working on right now, that's Castagno. He's a lap down. Raphael does a nice job of keeping a straight line. Thomas goes right around him. Another driver right behind these guys that we haven't talked about is Hung. Always fun to watch. He's in 8th. Sorry, racing in 7th, up a spot, qualified in 8th. All by himself right now. Nolan Hung were kind of on an island. They were behind the front runners and ahead of all that nonsense going on behind them. We'll come back and look at a few more. Well, let's take this opportunity to look at Pat Kelly. He's back in 8th, all by himself. And we'll quickly, after we take a look at Pat and his pretty car, the blue and white machine, the man who's making his way through the field, didn't put in a qualifying time in 9th now. Michael Ussel. He's got about 7 seconds to get up to Kelly. Give a little bit of love to everybody.
Marcus just a second behind Xavi Ross at this point of time. Closing in, but he's not going to be close enough for turn 1. So I'm kind of expecting something into the second chicane, and it really does seem like these two guys are catching up to Antonio Ortiz Poveda right now, the leader of this movement.
Yeah, I agree. The gap to Poveda is it's under 2 seconds. And the interval really rubber bands back and forth between Ross and Marco Sanfilippo. Right now it sits at 0.8 of a second, but Marco has had it down to as little as 0.4. But look at this. Look, you see those guys. Watch as we come around here. You look at the top of your screen. That driver, just in the corner of your screen right now, that's Poveda. You'll see him again right here. Just going out of screen right now. They are coming. There he is. Now you see them all. That gap, 1.6 seconds between the leader and Xavier Ross. Ross beginning to open it up, I think, starting to leave Marco Sanfilippo behind. Now starting to close in on Poveda. There will be pit stops. Oh, this is a good shot as we look above, as they come out from behind the foliage there at Monza. As they race along, you'll see them go beneath an overpass. That is the old oval, that high-banked oval that they go underneath. If you're old enough to appreciate the movie Grand Prix, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Currently, I'm really interested about the involvement of this gap especially between the two teammates of Xavier Ross and Antonio Poveda, because Poveda is starting to be constantly slower than Xavier Ross. Xavier Ross last time around 7/10 faster than your leader, and Marco Sanfilippo is also about half a second slower than Xavier Ross, but he is still 2 to 3/10, maybe sometimes 4/10 faster than Poveda and Xavier Ross with a big mistake. You were able to see on your screen goes well over those sausage curbs, and that probably has given him quite some underflow damage.
You know, I hate to say that Stefan told you so, but Stefan told you so. That's Sanfilippo got on the back of him and puts the pressure on him, and Ross makes a mistake. But what Ross is really good at is making mistakes that don't end his day.
Yeah,
so there you see it.
After Marco Sanfilippo got past, he immediately went into pit lane.
There's the first of our leaders who maybe picked up some damage there. So the interval now from Poveda to Ross is about 3.5 seconds.
Thomas Knoll and Lars Hang are also in the pit lane, so no traffic whatsoever for Marco Sanfilippo.
Oh, I wasn't listening to you, Steph, when you said immediately. I thought going into pit lane would be Ross to repair the damage, but no, you're right. It was Marco Sanfilippo who just got second. Okay. Come on, Soup. Get with the program here. So Marco is in there. He's the leader of all the cars who've pitted. Thomas Knoll has made a stop. Castagno's made a stop. Hung has made a stop. Kelly. Poveda, Ross, McLeod, and Danilo Sanfilippo, your front four, and they have yet to pit.
Xavier Ross into the pit lane. I'm actually really surprised these guys are opting for the undercut, because we have seen multiple times already that the undercut doesn't work in this car.
Right, with Ross coming in, let's take this opportunity to pick up Marco Sanfilippo, because I think this is going to be close when they come out.
Xavier Ross on the checks. Danilo Sanfilippo joins him in the pit lane as Marco Sanfilippo makes his way out of the parabolic. Where is Xavier Ross? Xavier Ross already going up to the limiter.
This is going to be close. Ross out onto the track, and Sanfilippo. And Ross is going to get that done. Remember, Sanfilippo had just made the pass from the mistake that Ross made through through his scarring. So Ross came in and take a quick look at pit stop times to see if that tells me anything. Oh, about 0.6 of a second faster in the box was Ross. I guess that's what counts for it. Now, if I get this sorted out, Ross in third. And he is safe. We're still waiting. Now our leader is in. Poveda is in.
Blake McLeod goes past, so he is now your new leader of this motor race.
Yeah, he gets in there. I just don't think. He had about 3 seconds. I'm talking about Poveda. Had about a 3-second gap over, it was Sanfilippo at the time. Now it'll be Ross. I'll be real surprised if Ross is even within shouting distance when the pit stops are done. Poveda is rolling. Ross is on the straightaway. You can see the gap on the screen there. 3.5 seconds, which is about where it was. Now it's down to a little more less than that as Ross continued to close the gap. All right. So, Steph, our new leader, defending champion, Clayton McClown, hoping for Godzilla to come in and tear up the track here at Monza, and they'll call the race. I don't think that's going to happen. This one's going to go the distance.
No, it is not going to happen because, as we know, aliens only ever attack the user.
That's right, and they always get our monuments, too. They seem to have an affection for destroying the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building. Coming around Parabolica, we think that McLeod is going to come in this time.
No, he's not.
He's not going to. Well, stay out there and get a little bit of love from us. What is the gap? 17 seconds between him and Poveda. Oh, Noel just does what he does so well. Let's see, which chicane was this? Was this the second chicane, it looks like, huh?
That is the second chicane. Just too fast once again into the turn. This time, though, he is one of those cars not hitting anything, but there are already quite a few tracks in that zone.
That's another thing that Hung does, too, in his number 10 machine out there today. He'll come and put the pressure on you. He just keeps the car pointed in the right direction. You won't see Lars make a mistake very often, unlike the driver we're looking at right now, Noel, who's always fast and likes to explore the countryside of the tracks he goes to. Back on our leader. Just negotiated Ascari, heading down into Parabolica. This time, I'm telling you, he's going to be coming in for a stop.
Or next time.
Let's see, and he's coming in. All right, now he's certainly going to get passed by Poveda. We think Ross and Sanfilippo are going to get him too. It's Marco Sanfilippo. The question is, he should be able to come out between the two Sanfilippos in fourth, between Marco and Danilo.
Blake McLeod only now going up on the checks, so he is going to get past both of them. Where is Danilo Sanfilippo? Danilo Sanfilippo only now going into Parabolica, so Blake McLeod easily going to jump Danilo. So as he said, he's splitting the two Sanfilippos.
There we go. Now this is an interesting battle here. That is Eugenio Massa. Now in front of him, that is Andy Ronaldo. That battle is for position. And now getting into the mix, there is Marco Sanfilippo. He's on the lead lap. Those guys were battling for 11th. Sanfilippo, though, has no time to wait because he is being chased by... Well, I thought he was being chased. What happened to... Where is he? Oh, sorry. It's Marco Sanfilippo is trying to hang on to the back of Xavi Ross. Ross is long gone, yeah.
Because of all these traffic and how Marco was catching them, He really lost the 2 cars ahead of him, but Antonio Ortiz-Poveda, he got held up a little bit. That allowed Cyrus to get back up to him, so we now have a little bit of a battle between the 2 teammates for that P1.
Well, Stefan, if you remember, before the pit window opened, Ross was closing on Poveda, then Ross made that mistake and fell well back, and now he's doing it again.
Most
The 2
definitely
country mates,
is.
the 2 Spaniards. Racing in identically painted machines. Boy, those are some pretty looking cars. Black with gold flake. They just look expensive. Xavi Ross spins it again. Boy, this one really hurts. He goes over the big curbs. Over those barricades that say you should not go here. In fact, Ross is parked on the track now. He's not going. He's going to have to take a tow. He sits dead in the water.
I wonder
Still
if
dead
he
in the
stole his
water.
car.
Somebody get out and give him a push. Xavi Ross still parked on the track. We're looking at Poveda, the leader. Xavi Ross continues to sit. He's got to get it rolling here pretty soon, and there is Poveda running away with it. Xavi Ross in car number 2 continues to sit. Cars go by him left and right. Can we take a look at Xavi Ross, director, if we're able to? Oh, we're looking at the replay. That's why we are. Okay. Nope, we're on live.
Yeah, that was all live there. That was a mistake by Poveda. And yeah, it's...
This is unusual to
Ross.
see a car. If we can get a look at car number 2. Sitting there. Okay. There he is. That's an unusual shot of a car parked on the front. Was racing in second. We'll get off of him now, but it's strange to see a car. We see cars often sitting on pit lane. Don't see him parked out on the track.
Yeah, Cyrus most definitely annoyed with himself. He stalled the car. There are no engine sounds whatsoever. He's out of gear and everything. So yeah, Cyrus, he is most definitely very, very annoyed by himself. Either way, Antonio Ortiz-Poveda is continuing to lead now ahead of Marco Sanfilippo. Marco Sanfilippo is not able to close in at all to Poveda. He's about 4/10 per lap slower right now than Ortiz-Poveda.
And Xavi Ross finally takes a tow. Bad news for him. If you hear, Stefan, someone applauding a little bit to your north, you're in Austria. I guess Germany's to the north of you. That's probably Thomas Seeger. All of a sudden, things are looking better for the German driver. How'd I do on geography? Is Germany to the north of Austria?
Yes.
All right, see?
Not only he is applauding, but also Marco Sanfilippo. Let's not forget, he is 130 points behind in the Drop Championship. So the guy who is really benefiting from all of this is Marco Sanfilippo. He just has to stay in second place, and he's going to get a good haul of points.
Absolutely. Turning this into a 3-car battle going into the finale. Okay, things have settled down a little bit. We have 11 laps to go. Let's go ahead and run you through the field, give you an idea of what's going on. Okay? What we're going to do instead, we're going to take a look at a replay here. Now, this is Massa in a battle with Mora.
Yeah, Mura
And
had
it
a
was a
mistake
mistake,
into the
yeah.
second chicane. You were able to see it there on the side of your screen. He actually overshot the braking point a little bit and then just continued straight on through the.
We're right on board with Mora now, who's in 11th. And there we go. Does a nice job of splitting those barricades, though, when he came back out on the track. So Massa Eugenio racing in the top 10. We'll stay on Moss a minute because he's got a little bit of a battle as Moore is right back on him again. Is this back for another? This is interesting. Let's stay on this one. Here's McLeod in the mix. And I just heard somebody else go off. Don't know who that was, as I can't scroll back. We'll stay live. Okay, things have settled down. Let's try our rundown. We'll do this quickly because the action is hot and heavy. Antonio Poveda, 4.2 seconds up on Marco Sanfilippo, who races in second. Started in fifth, up 3 spots. Back in third, defending champion. He led for a few laps in the pit window. Clayton McLeod. McLeod working around one of the lap cars right there. That's Eugenia Massa. All right, Stefan, who's in fourth?
In fourth place, we have the Miller Sanfilippo currently making his way past the lap car of David Hutton, who himself is sixth in fourth position. In fifth place, we have Lars Hung, who started in 8th place, so he gained himself 3 positions. Very quiet race by him so far. Really not much to say about him, but Thomas Knoll in 6th place, he really went the wrong way so far. From 3rd into 6th, had a little bit of damage because of a contact early on in the race, which got fixed in the pit stop. But 6th place, really not where Knoll wants to be at this point in the race.
Doesn't have much to worry back in 7th because that's John Pat Kelly. He's about 7 seconds back. Racing all by himself. Actually 5 seconds behind Knoll. 7 seconds on the man who didn't put in a qualifying time, Michael Ussel, in the number 15 machine. Look at him right there. He's got a huge gap back to the car that is the first car 1 lap down. That's Andy Renolfsson racing in 9th. I'll throw it back over to Steph to go down to the rest of the cars that are still out there racing.
Next up, that is the car of Eugenio Massa in 10th place. He is, said one. Oh, wait, Mura is 10th. I'm sorry, they had an overtake there between the two. So Mura from 15th to 10th. That means Massa is now in 11th, starting from 16th. But I think that battle for that 10th position is far from done.
Yeah, that's the battle we saw before where Mora made the mistake and Moss was able to get the position. Clearly, probably Mora is faster as he lost a lot of time but ran him down again.
But next up behind them, as that battle didn't involve there any overtaking, the next car behind them, that would be Rafael Torres Castaño in 12th place, gained himself 1 position. And then the last car still driving here today is David Cutmore after running into some problems throughout the race. He started in 11th, was already up to 8th, but now he sits in 13th. The last car still racing.
There is one more. Zavi Ross just spun the car. We can look at him. He put it in the ground again.
Cutmore also just spun.
Both the drivers we just talked about. Okay. We'll take a look at Cudmore. We almost got through the run through the field without jinxing anybody, but at the very end we got Cudmore and Zavi Ross both. We'll take a look at David Spence.
Guess what, Soup? He once again, one of those drivers, just a little bit too much speed through the first part and then loses the car, hits the wall there with the right front.
We come back looking at our leader. 3.7 seconds up on Marco Sanfilippo is Antonio Poveda. Only one driver has multiple wins this season. That is Mark Usher. He has quite a few of them. He has 4, but he's missed so many races he's not in the championship hunt. Antonio Poveda looking to be our first 2-time winner, other than Usher, who has all of those. We see him. He works through both of the Lesmos. Now he comes down into Ascari, going beneath that overpass. Ascari, the double chicane, the left-right-left chicane. Back back on the throttle. This long back straight into Parabolica. My gosh, Stefan, you are on the throttle a lot here.
Yeah, you're about 60% full throttle here at Monza. I know it's only 60%, it is a little bit surprising, but because of all these slow turns where you have to brake for this, quite surprisingly low. But either way, Poveda so far the fastest all the way through the turns, through the straights, and yeah, he is now on lap 30, which means only 9 more laps to go. 6 more laps to go, sorry.
2.8 seconds up on San Filippo. Right on board with Marco. Again, a big points day for this driver. I made a big point of talking about Thomas Ziegler, how well he's doing, and Xavi Ross. Really didn't give Marco Sanfilippo maybe all the attention he deserves, because going into the final with this good result, he's going to be a lot closer, and he'll be in the mix for a championship.
I don't know why I thought that this race is 38 laps. Either way, 35 laps is this race long. And yeah, you have to say, at the front, apart from Xavi Ross, who made it really interesting in the middle part, these guys are, strangely enough, quite far away from each other pace-wise.
I have a battle beginning to brew. Can we go back to 11th position? This is Junior Massa. Remember, he was in the battle with Mora. Mora has driven away, but coming on after him here, about 1.3 seconds back and closing at a pretty good clip, is Castagno. Make sure they are on the same lap. Yeah, they're both 1 lap down, so that's a battle for 11th spot.
About 6/10 in favor of Castagno in behind. So that really is going to close in here in those last 2 laps.
Yeah, Massa and Hung kind of tried to do the same thing. They tried to avoid making mistakes. Massa did have one earlier, though. Lars Hung doing what he does, though, in 5th. Just really uneventful. And he just finds himself positions. He takes a 8th place car, gets himself a 5th place finish. Here's our leader. Two seconds is the gap to Sanfilippo. Poveda has got to be feeling better with Xavi Ross out of it now. Even though they were teammates, Ross was really putting the pressure on him in closing. Not the case now. You can see Sanfilippo at the very little dot at the top. There you see the whole thing. You can see both drivers in the same shot.
Yeah, Sanfilippo, interesting enough, let's see, the lap comes this time around a 24.93 for Sanfilippo and a 25.3 for Poveda. So interestingly enough, same thing as we saw at the end of the first in Poveda, once again losing quite heavily out to Sanfilippo.
Our leader working lap number 32. Stefan, in America, it is Memorial Day weekend. It's a big holiday for us. Big race weekend around the world. Some of them are gone. We're not going to spoil anything, but it's Monaco, Indianapolis, and if you're a stock car fan, they have a big 600-mile race at Charlotte today.
Very deep. We have all of those events now. I thought I had this written down, but I do not remember what place the FW31 had in their race at the Monaco Grand Prix when they raced in 2009.
Oh, now you've whetted my appetite. There is our second place driver. See that little dot way up there? That's your leader.
There we go. So obviously 2 cars were fielded because it's Formula 1. one famous Nico Rosberg, a World Championship driver, finished the Monaco Grand Prix in 5th place, and another driver, the second driver of the team, Katsuki Nakajima, might know that name, retired in 15th place but got scored because he completed more than 90% of the race. So an interesting 5th place for these guys.
Well, they're going to win here today. I can guarantee you that.
They're gonna get 1st, 2nd place, last place, and they wrecked out at the same time.
That's right. That little battle that I was hoping was going to heat up between Massa, and Castagno has not. They've all managed to keep their gap. Our leader working lap number 34. 2 to go. A little bit of intrigue going on. He's coming up behind a back marker. He's got to get around him. The gap 1.5 seconds now back to Sanfilippo, keeping him honest.
Sanfilippo is steadily closing the gap by half a second.
Leader working his way through De La Rogia. Now through the first Lesmo, now the second Lesmo. And yeah, you know what has happened is Sanfilippo is close enough to keep the pressure on Poveda. Good news for Poveda is there is no lap traffic immediately in front of him. He has clear track now, but the gap almost down to a second. I tell you, this series does not fail to entertain.
The interesting part here is Marco Sanfilippo, he did not get faster by his own. He's still putting in his 24.7s to 24.9s. So it is all Antonio Poveda just completely losing pace. He was doing 24.8s at the start, and now he's into the mid 25s with a 25.464 this time around, so he's really losing time.
Not a moment too soon, the white flag flies for Antonio Poveda. We ride on board with the hunter, looking at the prey. The hound after the hare. The interval between them, 1.3 seconds.
And I think at this time, Sanfilippo needs a little bit of a mistake by Poveda so he can really close in and be there at Parabolica. Maybe he can close it in by himself because he finds an incredibly good launch through Ascari, but at this point he might be just too far away to get there by the end of the line.
Look at that interval. It's now down to under a second. If he can close up a little bit more, the start-finish line is pretty darn close to Parabolica. He'll have to be really close if he wants to snake him at the line. The interval remains a tick under a second. Nothing between Poveda and the win except for turn 11, which he is in right now. He hugs the line, he comes out clean, he gets the car pointed in the right direction. It's all straight from here. He weaves. Let's give the penultimate round of the 2019 Batteries Not Included Spring Season Championship to Antonio Poveda. Try as he might, Marco Sanfilippo will take second. Clayton McLeod, a quiet third place. 7 drivers on the lead lap. McLeod finishes. Danilo Sanfilippo working his way through Parabolica. He will get 4th.
5th place, if nothing happens, will go to Lars Hahn, who is about 2 seconds ahead of the German-speaking driver of Thomas North. There we go.
And then the last driver, John Petrichelli. He's got a ways to go. He's guaranteed that 7th spot as he is the last car on the lead lap. So, as Kelly works his way around and Noel works his way around the lead lap, I'm going to start setting up for our break. Don't go far, though. We'll come back and run down the entire finishing order. Talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching GSRC on IESN.
I can still remember what it was like the first time I stepped into a race car. The sound of the engine, the anticipation, but I never could have imagined where this journey would take me. My father once told me that racing is just like life. You have to stay on your toes, because you never know what's around the next corner. My name is Bill Watson, and this is my story.
Streaming cyberspace into your place on the iRacing Esports Network. From Autodromo Nazionale Monza, this is the Global SimRacing Channel's penultimate round coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. Mark Usher has 4 wins this season, but nobody else has been able to win more than once until today. Antonio Pavetta starts on the pole. He gets the win. It was not wire to wire, but it was pretty darn dominant. Marco Sanfilippo, a very impressive run for second, not only gets second place points, but with the problems that Stefan will talk about a little bit later to our front runners in the points, going to be an interesting point battle going into our season finale next round. Clayton McLeod, defending champion, he finishes in third, had a taste of the lead during the pit window. Danilo Sanfilippo, not as fast as his brother, but nevertheless inside the top 5 in fourth. Lars Hung doing what he does, starting in 8th, keeping the car pointed in the right direction, and he ends up inside the top 5, a good points day for Hung. Thomas Knoll doing what he does, very fast, finding lots of time to be on the grass. He takes a 3rd place car and finishes 6th. John Pat Kelly comes home in 7th, up 3 spots. Did not put in a qualifying time, was Michael Russell. He gets 8th. 9th and 10th go to Andy Renolfsson and Kibler Mura in 10th. Stefan?
Kleber Mura and Eugenio Massa, also the 2 guys who are the real hard charger, as you would say, from 15th to 10th and 16th to 11th. These 2 went. Rafael Torres Castaño from 13th to 12th, he also makes a position, and that is because of the Xavi Ross incident. He spun himself out in the second chicane and then stalled the engine, wasn't able to keep that one going. So he lost 2 laps doing that. And then, it's really going to open up the championship for the last round in this series. So really make sure to watch that with us, because it is going to be a great show and a great spectacle. David Cutmore in 14th, he also went the wrong way, but he also, if I remember correctly, did not finish this race. Jerry Volkop, another car that didn't finish, 24 laps down, 15th place to him. Tamas Seen, another car, didn't finish, 26 laps down in 16th. And Thomas Ziegler, very unlucky for him, 35 laps down in 17th.
Yeah, did not even complete the first lap, is our raw points leader. The German driver had trouble in the Rettifilio. All right, let's go to our winner, though, and that, of course, is do we have him in here? Yes, it's Antonio or Antonio Pavetta. Antonio, congratulations. Boy, you had me worried there. It looks like the guys behind you were running you down a couple times.
Thank you. Yeah, they were really, really fast. I knew from other races that Marco today had a lot of rhythm, my teammate also. So yeah, it was really hard. I'm sweating a lot right now. It was hard and it was very fun. And yeah, it was close by the end because I was trying to control Marco, and then I made some mistakes, and suddenly he was there, so I was trying to push as hard as I could, and he was pushing as hard as he could too. And he was really close at the end. And yeah, congratulations to him too. He did a really great race.
And your countrymate Xavi Ross was also closing the gap, but Ross does what he kind of does. He's quick, but would make a little mistake and have to close down again, and then finally he had a big one that cost him. It's got to feel good to pick up your second win, the only driver other than Usher to get more than one this season.
Yeah, it feels great. I trained a lot for this one because I knew I had to win this and the next one, for not for the championship, which is lost, but for the official one of the iRacing. And yes, after this win, I think I only need some like 40 points for the next one to win that championship, so I'm pretty happy for it. Yeah, bad luck for my teammate, which the engine went into stall mode, so he couldn't fire it up again. Yeah, he was asking in the chat to the lap cars if someone could push him a little bit.
That's my booth mate here, Stefan Slocker, had that one done because now he's stalled the car. He wants to get it going. Hard to do in these ones. Let's get you out of here by talking about next round. This is a fast track, and so is where we're going next time to Spa. Do you have a lot of experience there?
Yeah, I raced there, I think, 2 seasons ago with this car, with you. Yeah, and I really, really want a good result because I remember that was going to be my first podium with this car that time, and I abandoned like 3 laps to the end, trying to look for the fast lap. So that's a mistake that I never made again. So yeah, I'd like to go and get a good result, and it's a full-length race. It's 44 laps. So it's going to be interesting, I think, in terms of will it be 1 stop or 2 stops? I don't know. Maybe we have to do some tests and see if it's possible to do 2 stops, 1 stop. I don't really know. So yeah, really excited about that race.
Well, good luck in that race here in the BNI Broadcaster Series, and good luck throughout the week in that quest for the iRacing Championship. We hope you get that one.
Thanks a lot. See you in 1 week.
Antonio Poveda, your winner here today. And as I look up there, it looks like that's the only driver that's going to come and talk with us, so we can close up shop. Now, you don't want to miss next week. It's going to be exciting. We've built the plot for you, and now it's time for the final chapter. And let me tell you, we are not going to disappoint. We'd like to thank everyone in the Williams iRacing community, especially Clayton McLeod, for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. On screen now are just some of the companies that provide the software and hardware GSRC uses to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. We talked about it a second ago with Antonio. Batteries Not Included will be back next round for the season finale. It's going to be a spa day. GSRC will be there along with iRacing to bring you all the action. We hope that you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media at Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook, Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_brand. All of the upcoming races for other series are listed on your screen right now, so check them out and mark them down on the calendar so you don't miss another second of exciting racing action. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and hit that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Steph and Sean and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was Antonio Ortiz Poveda picking up the second win of the season here, round number 11 at Monza. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.